So today's video, I really want to break down the terminology that can be confusing because these words are often used in substitute of one another, but they mean very different things, especially depending on who you're talking to. So we're going to talk about the difference between branding and marketing and how those differ from advertising and sales. Because oftentimes I hear clients, like especially during discovery calls, where they either have a traffic problem where not enough people know about you or know what you do or how you do it. And then there's also those who have plenty of traffic, but they lack conversion because they don't have a content funnel to create those micro signals of interest to get people eventually down the path of their own journey to when they are ready to buy. So let's start with branding. In case you didn't know, branding came from like the old days of when you would brand cattle, like you would mark the cattle and it would change the behavior of others, where if someone saw the cattle and there was Deb's brand on it, then you knew you couldn't take that cow. So branding in our space and why we do organic social media is it's really an intangible. It's a feeling. It's a promise where you need to prove and have evidence of the promise, but it's not necessarily something you can always measure, which is the frustrating part. And this is where, when we get obsessive with certain metrics, it almost removes the creativity. But it's connection. Like there is no unit of measurement for connection, for trust, for love, for brand. Brand is the intangible. Having a strong brand means that you could be bad at sales, to be honest, and the brand almost sells for you. Now, you still have to convert. This is where I say, like, branding can get you all the way to the 1 yard line, but you still have to convert it to the end zone. So what is branding? We don't own the brand. The brand is a perception that's in people's heads of you, which my perception of, say, Nike may be very different than yours, or from, let's say, even Dave Savage or the mortgage nerd. Like some of you, depending on what you know and what you've been through in your own personal experiences, you may have different associations with that person. So associations are huge because the things that you like on social, the things that you comment on, the clothes that you wear, if you're a Cowboys fan and you wear Cowboys gear in your videos, these are all other like brand signals that we tell the world. Now, the stronger the brand, that means there's more congruency online and offline. And this is where the days of trying to fake it till you make it, where you try to appear your one way online, but then your sales process is actually not great. And you have people who now are keyboard warriors and they'll expose you. That's where we've lost control of being able to lie and manipulate, which I think is a good thing. So branding is more of the intangible. Like think of it as a feeling. Marketing is the strategy to get attention. Now, who do we want to get attention from? From the people who we prefer to serve, our ideal client, the people that give us joy to work with, there's the highest profitability, and that we can serve in the deepest way. It's not getting attention from all people. It's getting the right attention. And what is the strategy, which means distribution channels, content types? How do we set up our profiles so that we can optimize where we even get the attention? Are we using high search, SEO keywords? Are we using hashtags? Are we tagging location? So that's branding and marketing. So marketing is more strategy of how you're going to get attention. Branding is how you make people feel. So then what is advertising? Advertising is the way in which you get the marketing out there. So there's a benefit to having some kind of paid strategy behind your social post. Usually, if you look at the last 30 days, your best performing organic piece of content would be the one that I would put ad spend behind. So ad spend just allows you, what I do personally is, not for myself, but for others, is you take your best performing piece of organic content and then you add a call to action to it and you turn it into an ad. So those are the main differences between branding, marketing, and advertising. A lot of times we hear the word marketing and it's people use that word to cover their needs, but what they really need is advertising, or what they really need is brand strategy. So let's talk about sales. Sales and marketing go hand in hand. Marketing is really good at creating attention from the right people. Sales has to convert. It's creating the mini chat automation. So you could tell people, DM me the word downsize to get a free guide. It's having a CRM that helps you incubate and nurture and tells you who to follow up with, when, why, where, how, all of those things. So you can not be as great at sales and still outperform others because you have really strong branding and marketing. But if you don't have a way to convert the content you're creating on social, like how do we get people from viewers to followers to fans to clients to then advocates? That's part of the ecosystem where all of this together, guys. Because I do have people that say, okay, what's the ROI of social media? I'm like, it's the single best way to accelerate trust and conversion. So start documenting. There's no measurement for trust, but what's your current conversion before social? And then what's your conversion rate after social? That's the whole point of why we're on social. We want to build that know, like, and trust factor so that when people get the old school word of mouth referral, it's blended with the new school of trust but verify, where I'm going to go look you up and I'm going to want to make sure that the story of what someone just shared with me about you is actually real per my perspective. So hopefully that is helpful. And now we can all use the terminology correctly when we're having conversations, especially maybe you're meeting with one of your partners or a divorce attorney and you're asking them about their lead generation strategies or their client retention strategies or repeat clients. This would be a great little micro lesson or even class that you could teach a room full of agents. Like, what is your brand? How do you want to be known? What do you want to be remembered as? How do you want to make people feel? Fill in the blank. We are different because ... Not we are better, but we are different because. So if you guys have questions on any of this, or if you'd like to set up a brand strategy session, just go to the website. If you go to other services, you can click on the schedule a strategy call and we can dive deeper into learning and relearning, because know that whatever you choose today, guys, you have permission to continue to evolve. In fact, as your personal character grows, so will your brand and your influence. So it's not something that just because you choose, this is how I want people to feel, that you have to stick with, like, that's a 30-year commitment. And also, may I just say that branding is not a logo. It's not your colors. That may influence how people think and feel about your brand, but that's just an identification, a visual identification of the brand. So y'all know what to do. I ain't hard to find. Have a great weekend.